Here it is, hands-on with the 8A from Honor. Is this phone a budget buster? It's got an incredibly low price and I was really impressed with one of the features. Let's find out what it was. Right, so let's have a hands-on impressions and first look of the Honor 8A. Literally brand new, this one, first day in the shops, and I went out and tested it. I actually can't believe how good some of the features are for the price. The price we have to talk about first. This thing is on sale here in China for 799 RMB. That is $120. This thing is crazy cheap and it's got some unbelievable features for the price. Make sure you watch on and see just how good this camera is for an incredibly cheap smartphone. We'll go through everything, the camera, the design, the screen, what's on the inside. We'll get to the camera in a minute. Let's first talk about the screen. Actually, the first thing I noticed when I picked this phone up was just how light it is. It's not very heavy at all. So, does that mean it's got a small battery? We'll see that in a minute. The screen itself, that is a 6-inch LCD panel. Actually, these LCD panels are really good now. The colors are really poppy, really vibrant. Obviously, the color scheme that they put on the phone is going to change that. You can see here, they've gone for a really bright color scheme with some pastel colors. Now the screen is round about HD, 720 by 1560 pixels. Not the sharpest screen you're ever going to lay your eyes on, but I think in this phone it sort of works. I think they've designed the operating system and the color scheme here pretty well, and using the phone, flicking through, it's definitely not as sharp as some really expensive phones, but what do you expect in a phone this cheap? You get that water drop notch that is common in all of these phones now. You just get the earpiece at the top there, which you can hardly see, it blends in well. It's a really good design at the top. One thing I will say is that on the bottom, that chin is a little big. It's actually so big that they managed to fit the Honor logo in there. I guess they couldn't leave it blank because it just would have looked a bit strange to have that big black chin on the bottom. Of course, other more expensive phones have smaller chins, but it's unfair to compare it to them. Comparing it to phones in the same price bracket, it's more or less the same size. Actually, after a few minutes using the phone, you barely notice it's there. It's on the bottom anyway. There are no buttons on there, it's just dark space. The capacitive buttons sit just above that screen. You've got the back, the app loader, and the home button in the middle. Let's quickly get onto the back design before I talk about that camera, which I really like. You get this pretty cool design on the back, which is like a strip that goes down the left-hand side on the back of the phone. You can just make it out in this shot here that I took. It is a different texture and it just gives a nice little edge to the phone. This is the black one that I got my hands on here. I've seen the blue one as well. It looks even better on the blue one. You get the back, which is shiny, and then on the left hand side you just get that strip, which is a different texture. I think it looks really good. The camera on the back there, as you can see, it's a single lens setup, 13 megapixel f1.8 aperture. So I flipped on the camera here. As you can see, I'm just photographing this little pig. Obviously, it is Chinese New Year very soon here in China, and it is the year of the pig, hence why they have this pig in here. But as you can see here, it's really, really great. The colors are reproduced really well. The photograph is exposed really well. In addition, you can go into the settings and you can edit the photo. You can make it larger or smaller, or zoom in or change the color. When I was playing with the camera, I couldn't zoom in or out in the camera app. So when I was taking the photo, I couldn't zoom in to get closer to things. It was only after I'd actually taken the photo that I could go into the settings and edit the photo, zoom in, zoom out, change things, change angles, things like that. Definitely something to note before you buy the phone. If you're not aware, you just can't zoom in or out before you take the photo. I must admit, regularly using phones that do have zoom, either in or out or super wide angles, it becomes second nature when you're taking the photo just to pinch and zoom in or out. Using this phone while taking photographs, I just wanted to zoom in or out. I just wanted to pinch and get a bit closer, and it wouldn't let me. It's definitely a feature that I would miss coming from different phones, always zooming in and out. It was something that I just wanted to do but couldn't. Having said that, going into the settings and editing the photo is actually really easy. You can see here I'm just playing around with the settings, zooming in or out, changing the aspect ratio, changing the colors. It's really easy and it's really quick. So I guess that just makes up for not having that zoom with the camera taking photographs. If you want to take videos, you can see me here playing around. Videos are exposed really well. You can see the colors are reproduced really well. I really like how the camera is performing. This thing is $120 US, 799 RMB here in China, and that is a really great camera. You can zoom in and out when taking videos. You can see me pinching here and it will zoom in and out, no problem. So you can zoom in and out when taking video, but you can't do that when you're taking photos. I might be wrong, there might be a setting, I might have been using it wrong, but for some reason, whenever I was in photos, I just couldn't zoom in or out before I took it. That main camera on the back there is a 13 megapixel f1.8. As I said, it has phase detection autofocus, which means that you're just gonna get a really decent autofocus system. I was testing it out, touching light areas and dark areas. It seemed pretty responsive. Definitely no slouch, and you've always got to remember the price that this is going for. It's got HDR as well, which is a really good feature to make sure that your photos are all exposed properly. There's no 4K recording, there's no slow-mo recording, you just get a flat 1080p HD video at 30 frames a second. Obviously there's no optical image stabilization on this thing, you won't get it here, but you can see me just here shaking the phone around, trying to test it out. Actually, to be fair, it really isn't that bad. I've seen way shakier images from other phones. This one, even considering the price with video, and when I was shaking it around pretty vigorously, it held up really well. So I definitely give it some points here. You can see in the background of this image, in the corners, there's some really bright spots, as obviously that's outside, it was daytime, and obviously inside it's going to be way darker. But you can see how when taking a video, everything is exposed pretty well. This is obviously some HDR and auto HDR modes coming in here. But again, considering the price, overall, that video is really decent. So what exactly is powering this phone from the inside, and why is it so light when I picked it up? I'm worried that that battery isn't going to be as big as I would want it to be. So we've got a MediaTek MT6765 Helio chipset. I don't know either. This is from MediaTek. It's a 12 nanometer chip. It's not a chip from one of the big boys. It's not from Snapdragon. It's not even a Kirin from Huawei's range. It's an octa-core chip. It's probably a decent, steady performer. Obviously, you're not going to get too good a chip in this thing. Look at the price. They've managed to stuff in 3 gigabytes of RAM into this one. You can get it with 32 or 64 gigs of storage. It keeps the headphone jack in this one. You can use your wired headphones, but we have micro USB charging. I think the only reason they put this legacy connector in these cheaper phones is to differentiate the more expensive phones so that they can charge more for them. I don't see any reason why they couldn't put USB-C in this thing, but anyway, we can't change it. It's got micro USB. How do you unlock this thing? There's no fingerprint sensor on the back. There's no fingerprint sensor on the front or under the screen. So it has their version of Face ID. What do you think about that? Do you really like the fingerprint sensor on the back? A lot of phones still have it and include it on the back. Obviously, a phone this price isn't going to have one under the screen, But I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't put one on the back there, considering how useful they are and how quick they are unlocking the phone. It's not going to be as secure as Face ID from Apple, but essentially it takes a picture of your face to unlock the phone. It is dual SIM, and you can put up to a 512GB SD card in there as well. When I picked the phone up, the first thing I noticed was how light it was. So I thought there was going to be a small battery on there, 3000 milliamp hours. It's an Android phone, you're at least going to get a day with normal usage, I'm sure, but definitely not the biggest battery. They've concentrated, I think, on the cameras and that screen design with the notch at the top. How do you think this phone compares to some of its competitors? Stay tuned, we might just put this phone up against a couple of different budget phones to see which one is the best.